on talkSPORT with Keep Britain Tidy. No ifs, no buts. If you smoke, bin your butts.
Time now for our feature with Keep Britain Tidy. What we do here is we discuss a couple of issues. We break it out maybe down from 2 to 1, and we decide whether or not that particular topic should be put in the bin in our desire to keep Britain tidy, of course. Danny's alongside Simon. Danny, I want to throw Arsenal in the mix first off, and I want to ask the question, will Arsenal be strong enough in the immediate period in spite of the fact they're coming back to a bundle of injuries, or can we bin any talk of Arsenal struggling in the immediate future? Arsenal defender Gabriel is set for further tests. He picked up a muscle injury in his right thigh. Concerns he's going to be out, Danny, 1, maybe 2 months. He picked up the injury, curiously, with Brazil during their friendly with Senegal. Arteta must be thrilled about that. Calafiori returned from international duty early due to injury. Jurrien Timber has also picked up a knock playing for the Netherlands. Already injury-stricken at Arsenal, Gyökeres, Odegaard, Madueke and Martinelli. Can we bin any talk of them in terms of their title charge diminishing because of this?
Well, I think if you lose 4 or 5 top players, you're going to be a tad weaker. But what they've done, we've talked about it before, is built up this brilliant squad. I mean, when you look at the centre-half position especially, a couple of seasons ago, the Gabriel, Saliba thing, if any of them get injured, it's catastrophe. I mean, they've already lost Saliba early in the season. Mosquera, is it? The young lad they brought in?
Mosquera, yeah.
Yeah, Mosquera. He came in and did really well. The left side centre-half, they've got 2 options. Calafiori can play there, but I think he's got an injury as well. And they've got the lad in Capio, who they brought from Leverkusen. He's only 23, but he's quick, he's strong.
Right.
And they spent big money on him. He's a hell of a talent. I've seen bits of him at Leverkusen, and I was having a look at some of him this morning.
But Gabriel, they can't afford to lose.
Well,
2 months, maybe?
They can, if Nkapie hits the ground running. He can play, the lad. He's quick and he's strong and he can pass. He's made for the Prem. The only thing with Gabriel, he's quite unique in that there's no real, maybe Van Dijk, but there's very few players in the Premier League who attack the ball like him on set.
Could he play Ben White in centre half?
Yeah, the problem is you lose the balance, because if you bring Ben White in, do you play him move Saliba across? The reason when Saliba was injured and Nkapie didn't play there and Mosquera did is because he's right-footed and he gives them the balance. It would make sense to have the left-footed, and he, physically he's really big as well. I don't think you'd bring Ben White and play him left centre half. I'd be surprised to see that.
If there's one player who's irreplaceable at Arsenal at this particular time, in your eyes, is it Declan?
Well, he's not irreplaceable because they've got lots of quality. They haven't got somebody like him in terms of what his attributes
right.
are.
But you're telling me Gabriel is replaceable?
Yeah, he is. You just lose a little bit on attacking set plays. But Nkapie is a big boy. And he's quick like Gabriel, and he's aggressive, and he's a lovely footballer. So, actually, I think Arsenal fans will enjoy watching him. The only problem is with somebody like him, because he hasn't had much game time, how long does it take to get to the speed of it?
Yeah.
He could have a bad day or a bad game or two getting himself used to it. But they're as equipped as anybody. I don't think it's unrealistic to think if you lost Timber, Gabriel and Calafiori, 3 of your normal back 4, that they're going to be more vulnerable.
Injury hit or not, then, do they beat Tottenham Hotspur?
Yeah.
On Sunday?
Yeah, I do think so.
Yeah. Right, okay.
Tottenham have got a couple of injuries themselves, remember. And although they've been great on the road, Arsenal might be a step too far.
Did you take anything from the Sunderland game? I wasn't surprised that Sunderland got a result against Arsenal, albeit on paper everyone thought that Arsenal would win the game because of their form and the way they are at the top of the league. But did you take anything from the way that Sunderland played against them?
Yeah.
Does that mean anyone else will take anything from it?
Yeah, it will, of course, because inevitably you're not going to try and outplay a team that have got so many wonderful players. Sunderland battled manfully to get back in that game, and Arsenal weren't brilliant on the day and still really should have saw it out. The thing is with Tottenham, although Thomas Frank is adaptable, Tottenham generally play.
Yeah, they don't have grit.
They're not gonna. Well, they've got grit. They've got a lot of athletes in the team, and they are more pragmatic. Hence the fact they're better on the road than at home. But they won't go long with every ball like Sunderland.
History tells us, Danny, that Tottenham will not win
exactly
at the Emirates this weekend. Their last win in the league at the Emirates back in 2011.
I think if you offered Tottenham a draw now, they'd bite your hand off.
Okay,
irrelevant of injuries.
So we might well end up putting Danny in the bin then.
Yeah.
Because as opposed to Arsenal, because you're unperturbed to a large degree about Arsenal's injury problems. But Danny, might you be heading for the bin yourself? On Monday on talkSPORT, Danny was asked, Antoine Semenyo to Liverpool?
I'd say yes, because he's obviously not a big fan of Chiesa. The strength of Liverpool last year really, I mean, Diaz, who played a lot of games centre forward, but Diaz played his best stuff off the left, and they didn't really replace him. Jota could play wide on occasion when he needed to. And if you're thinking about Salah and you're thinking right side long term, Semenyo's equally happy on the right as he is on the left. You've got African nations coming up if you wanted to try and get him in January. Chiesa can play on the right and Frimpong can, but I don't think Slot fancies either of them to play that position. I may be wrong with Frimpong. Maybe we've seen him play there once, and he struggled a bit on the night when he played there. So, do they need him? Yes. They could certainly, he'd enhance their forward line for sure.
Well, it might be the case that Bournemouth would have to reluctantly accept that they're powerless to prevent Antoine Semenyo from leaving the club this January, especially if somebody comes in with 65 million quid. They signed him for 10.5 million from Bristol City in January 2023. But Semenyo for Liverpool, is Isak not enough for you, Danny? Is Ekitike not enough?
Well, they're both strikers. So in wider areas, you know, is Slot happy with what he's got?
Is Salah not enough there?
Well, Salah when he's playing well and fit, of course he is, but he's not going to be there forever. So if you can get Semenyo, if you think his attributes add quality and a different option, you're going to be in the market for him at that price because he's so powerful.
But of all the clubs, after that enormous spend last time around, I wouldn't have put Liverpool top of the list to be talking another 65 to 70 million in January.
No, but I did say on Monday as well that it would be unrealistic to think they're going to bring him in without getting rid of one. I think they could easily let one go. You know, if he thinks he's an upgrade. The one thing he gives you, which Liverpool don't have, is this physical presence. He's electric, he's quick, but he's great in the air and he's 2-footed. It's an amazing, unique set of talents. Now, the other question I was asked and why we got to Liverpool was what clubs would be interested in him. And I found it difficult to think that if you're at Liverpool, we're looking at him at the price thinking, why wouldn't you be? Now, the age, you know, he's not super young, but he's not
25, isn't he?
Yeah, he's kind of in that. But I think it would be unusual if they weren't in for him when you think of Salah and how long he's gone, whether he's going to...
So would you, Simon, expect Liverpool to go again?
I don't know. It's interesting. Semenyo was on Charles at Palace, didn't he, when he was 15, and they turned him down. They had him for 8 weeks.
His story's a great story.
Yeah, didn't want him.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, because he's got a £65 million release clause, don't assume that's just a straightforward done deal in terms of being able to meet it, because there'll be of other caveats attached to it. There may well be payment terms that immediately drive the price at 65 million straight on the table. There may be other conditionality if it's a top six side that buys the player. So it might not just be the 65 million, and it might not be quite as appealing to Liverpool to do it, given the fact, and I defended this, against the onslaught of observations about how much they've spent, but they have spent 400 or 500 million in this window, just gone. It might be difficult for them to go again in January with another player, not just from a cash point of view, but from a PSR point of view. So it'll be interesting to see what they do and don't do. But I've liked this player for 2 or 3 years. I remember talking to Graham about him, Graham Souness, because Graham obviously lives down that neck of the woods and watches them more regularly. I think he's some player.
Yeah.
I think he's some player. I don't know if you said the other day, I don't know if it was you that was saying there was a school of thought that says he's a little bit in and out at times.
Right.
But whenever I've seen him, I think he's been in.
Well, I think this season it's been his most consistent period in terms of output.
Yeah.
He's scaring people to death with his...
Come May, where do you expect Semenyo to be playing?
Do you know what, Jim? I don't know, because he's going to have so many options. And the problem is with players, I don't really know but I think he grew up a Chelsea fan.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting Chelsea need him, but
They haven't got enough wingers, have they?
Exactly, but location can be a big factor for players.
Yeah.
You know, if Man U come in for him compared to Liverpool, does he think he's going to get more game time there or play it the way? In fact, United's system doesn't really suit him because they don't play wingers.
Yeah.
So there's loads of different things. I said on Monday that the conversation most players are most swayed by is the one with the manager, how they sell it to you, how they sell the club to you. So let's say 4 clubs are in for him, and he goes and meets with all those 4 coaches. One of them will make him feel it's right.
Yeah.
One of them will.
Yeah,
Well, saying that, I mean, Virgil van Dijk didn't need anyone to tell him to join Liverpool, did he? I mean, he already told everybody that he wanted to join Liverpool because it was a club that he admired.
That was after he'd met the managers.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was because he wanted to join Liverpool come what may.
He made
in your experience,
Klopp sold him Liverpool.
were you ever sold a pup by a manager?
Yeah.
Who? What pup?
Martin Yolfite fed me a load of crap and then got me to Tottenham and decided not to play me. But anyway,
Okay.
I'm not bitter.
But in the interest of this feature of keeping Britain tidy, and I'm being advised from the other side of the glass, I have to say, Danny, putting Semenyo in the same conversation at this stage as Liverpool suggests to us that Danny's being a little bit greedy. So I'm afraid Danny's heading for the bin. And we have to do that because we have to keep Britain tidy. It's 11:30.